So my friends, welcome to a new crypto update video. Bitcoin is currently at 114,000 US dollars. Last night we saw another small peak upwards towards 114,750 US dollars. With that, we've also entered our sell zone. That means everyone who opened any long positions down here should now slowly but surely start taking some profits just to play it safe because we've been rejected at the golden pocket again. If you remember, even during this upward counter move, we were also rejected at the golden pocket. Actually, I was only expecting this to happen around Wednesday or Thursday, since the numbers are coming out then. But alright, it happened a bit faster than expected. In any case, let's take another look at Bitcoin. Of course, we'll also take a look at Ethereum, the other altcoins, the stock markets, and also a bit at the equities market. So before we get started, as always, you know the drill. Leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and of course, join the free Telegram talk and Signal group. If you're interested in updates, news, and signals, feel free to join. You'll find the link for that for free down in the video description. And if you want to trade stocks now as well, just like Circle did another trade yesterday, you can now do all of that again on WEEX. At least the most common stocks are gradually being made available there, with more being unlocked over time. Plus, right now there are up to 11,500 USDT in bonuses available. Make sure to claim them. The link for that is down in the video description. Just sign up and you're in. So yeah, Bitcoin at 114,000 US dollars. Our target was up here between, let's say, 114,200 and about 115,800 US dollars. Why? Because on the one hand, the heat map told us so, and of course because up here there's the golden pocket, the 0.786 level, and an inefficiency. We hit the golden pocket. By now, the inefficiency, yeah, we could even say, if we take the wick over here, has also been pretty much filled. Let's take a look at the heat map, and by now it's pretty empty. So yesterday there was actually a bit more to the upside, up to around 117,000 US dollars. By now there's almost nothing left there. We can see down here at around 108,000 US dollars, there's now a lot of liquidity, or rather still a lot of liquidity sitting there. That's not a pretty picture, not something we really want to see, because it actually shows us, oh fuck, I think it could go a bit lower. And that's a concern I have now as well. Our funding rates are now back in positive territory, meaning they've risen a bit higher. It's not dramatic yet, as I said, but experience in this bull run has shown that as soon as we move a bit out of the negative range, so out of the negative funding rates, we should slowly but surely start to be a bit more cautious again. Let's go one level deeper, that is to the 3-day time frame on the heat map. We still have a larger chunk at around $116,100. So there's still a bit of room on the 3-day view, but that's to the downside. There's significantly more to be gained to the downside. And then, of course, the important data releases are coming up in the next few days. I already pointed that out to you yesterday. Today, it's still relatively quiet, I'll just say, except for the job openings, the JOLTS job openings, maybe also the consumer confidence all around 4 p.m. So get ready, take profits. That's extremely important at this point. Anyone who has an open long position can even try a small short position here if they don't already have a short position open up here, just as a bit of a hedge and to try to take advantage of these counter movements that might occur. As I said, the targets to the downside are between 102 and I wouldn't rule out 103 to about 98,000 US dollars yet, and this movement could still very well allow for that at the moment. Let's move over to Ethereum. How's it looking there? Ethereum is also performing very well, as I told you yesterday. The first take profit should be taken here at around 4,180 US dollars. Definitely took profit at this point. We're having a bit of trouble here at this point, which is why I already said yesterday that it's better to take some profits here. I'll take the second take profit somewhere between 4,300 and 4,440. That's this huge inefficiency we still have up there. Plus, there should also be vector candles exactly in this area. We can see that clearly here on the 4-hour time frame. But as I said, at the moment, we're having a bit of trouble getting above our resistance. So exactly this price range where we are massively rejected in the past, right there, we're seeing rejection again now. Sure, we swapped the liquidity above it, but as I said, only with WEEX, we didn't close above it. That means here too, it's best to play it safe, take some profits, and just wait. The position definitely stays open. I won't be opening another short or increasing the long position for now. Everything stays as it is at the moment. The next take profits are up in our blue sell zone. I've already worked a bit further on this for everyone. Yes, $3,500 to $3,000 would be my max pain scenario that I could still imagine. But alright, more on that tonight at 7 p.m. You know the drill. Tonight at 7 p.m, another live stream with, of course, even more altcoins, including your altcoin picks. There we can definitely spend much more time on it. So make sure to join in. I'll also post the link for you all in the free Telegram talk and Signal group. Yeah, let's move on to hype. How's it looking there? Yesterday there was a nice upward move, but now we've seen another sell-off in the last few hours. So at the moment, the charts aren't really showing much difference here. So what I mean by that is the volume is dropping off a bit again, and we keep seeing these pump and dumps. With Solana, it all looks a bit more precise, I have to say. We're still in profit, the position survived, everything's fine and good. But I'm missing that extra something, that really strong push upwards. You can already see it up here, the sell zone is around $230 to $240, and that's the level I'd like to reach. So at this point, we'll have to see if things play out a bit more here. But those are definitely my next take profit zones. That simply has to do with our high up here down to our low. That's what creates this sell zone at this point. And I'll show you this again here in a bit more detail, or rather it looks a bit clearer at this point. And that's roughly the plan, that we'll move up here again and then possibly see the next sell-off, which I've already marked would be around $175 to about $159. Let's see if that's how it plays out. As I said, the long position remains in place here as well. So far, I've only taken one take profit. I'll take the second one somewhere up here in the next few days, maybe even today. Let's see, I'll definitely let you know. XRP, same example, is still performing very accurately. And before we forget Pump Fund, because there's been a bit of movement there too, I want to quickly show you that as well. Position was picked up very well. The buy order is no longer valid at this point. First take profit, or 50%, was taken out. That was the day before yesterday during the live stream. Currently testing the 200 SMA here. If it holds, the target definitely remains up here in our 0.5, or rather, in the scored pocket. Alright, then let's move over to the traditional markets. Gold. Sell zone reached. Congratulations to everyone. The third take profit has now been triggered here, looking very good at this point. This also means our Fibonacci level will be shifted a bit further up, and our buy zone will also move a bit higher at this point. But now, if we really assume that this could possibly be a wave 3 after this long consolidation, the dump could be a bit bigger, and in that case the golden pocket would fit very well here. That would be sufficient. In any case, I think I have a bit of a suspicion that the numbers could turn out a bit worse this week. So maybe it's good for the economy, good for the labor market, which is exactly what Powell wants to see, and bad for a Fed rate decision, because with gold we've really reached a level where I would say, yeah, sooner or later a small correction with a pullback could happen. And if we don't get a rate cut, that's obviously bearish for gold and the like. That's why, be a bit cautious. I've taken the third take profit with silver. We're also just about to take the third take profit now. So the trades are really going perfectly. Even if we consider our endgame down there, with silver, we've now achieved a performance of 28%, so with a 5 times leverage, that's over 100%. And gold has also performed extremely well at this point. Euro against US dollar, yeah, it feels pretty much dead. There's really no need to even talk about it at the moment. DAX, if it would load. Nice momentum again from this buy zone, but still not really interesting. Dow Jones is consolidating, S&P 500 is consolidating, same with Nasdaq. Nasdaq is also still in our consolidation phase. So the stock markets are very quiet at the moment. I suspect people are also waiting a bit for the numbers to come out. Of course, we're hoping that the numbers are terrible so that we get an interest rate cut, or maybe even 2 this year. That would, of course, push the markets back up because money would be cheaper in that case. If the numbers are good, as messed up as it sounds, but business and the economy don't really go hand in hand, you know what I'm getting at. If the numbers are good for the economy, it's bad for the markets. Yeah, as macabre as it sounds, but that's just how it is. Otherwise, I just showed Circle nice upward momentum yesterday. We're still not out of the woods yet, I'll just say that. We need to get above this level in order to, let's say, get that upward momentum. Otherwise, yeah, that's it from my side. I'd say we'll hear from each other again this evening during the live stream, of course, with the latest news, with the latest charts. And I sound a bit like a music program talking about the latest charts and all, but, well, whatever. In any case, we'll hear from each other again this evening. I'm definitely looking forward to everyone who's joining. Sign up, 7 p.m, check in, and please be there. Then we'll take an hour and look at some charts together. That's it from me. I wish you a wonderful, successful day. Until then, ciao, stay crypto.